This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock, joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. One day till Election Day.
Are you excited?
I am excited.
Me too.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I actually am. I think this is the most exciting midterm election ever in our lifetime.
Well, now 2014 was a midterm election, and we had the Tom Cotton versus Mark Pryor race.
I mean on a national scale.
On the national scale. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, let's begin with national politics. First of all, you were a little under the weather last week. Are you feeling better? You look like you've recovered to 100%.
I feel great. I've got a little sniffle left. You know how those linger, or is that too much information? But I feel good. I feel good.
You lost your voice for a few days.
I did, and thank you for filling in for me at the Life Quest class.
You bet.
They said you were so good that they want me back next week. No, they said you were so good that use you as a regular sub. So you've got a gig now.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
So what did that thing pay? I forgot.
It doesn't pay. It's volunteer work for the community. You need to do some things for the community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's begin nationally.
All right.
We are told that there may be a blue wave coming that would impact the House of Representatives. Yes. We are told that the Republicans likely to hold on to the Senate. These are all conventional wisdom thoughts here. What are you going to be looking for on election night to see if the House really does go to the Democrats? Are there some early elections, or are there some places in the country you're going to be watching to see where things may be flipping or not flipping?
Not really. Kentucky is an early poll closing place. And so right when the news starts, when the coverage starts, Kentucky, the eastern edge of Kentucky, there's a congressional race there that's highly contested. The names of the combatants I cannot tell you right now because you hit me cold with this question. But it's a Republican district that a good Democratic candidate, a woman with a military record.
Abigail Spanberger
there you go.
Is her name, and she's running against a guy named Dave Bratt.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is that Virginia or Kentucky?
No, that's Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm talking about everybody out there knows except us. Anyway, if that's closer, if the Democrats ahead, if early returns should show the Democrat ahead in that district, that might be one signal. But basically, I'm not looking for signals. I'm just looking to behold what happens. I mean, this is in the House. Mm-hmm. As best I can describe it, the Democrats have 195, need to get to 218. They're probably sure to get to 202. Then there are about 40 that poll so closely you can't be sure. And the Democrats are saying, surely, out of 40 toss-ups, we'll get 16 of those. Well, you might get none of them.
Yeah.
Or you might get 40. I mean, it could be the Democrats come up short and lose to Trump again, in which case Katie bar the door on Trumpism for the next 2 years. Or it could be something approaching a wave if most of them break down. I think, and you probably agree, I would think, it's going to break one way or the other. We'll probably begin to see early that it looks like the Democrats aren't doing as well as they thought they would, or okay. It's not going to be a big wave. It's not going to be 60 or 50, but it could be high 30s.
Yep.
And we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think of Virginia, Florida, Pennsylvania's got a lot of seats up for grabs. There's some New York seats that are competitive for Democrats, some upstate seats that haven't been traditionally. And to me, I think when those early East Coast returns start trending.
Yeah, not any specific race, just the general early ones. If the Democrats are doing well, or appear to be, that could be a signal.
I can remember in 2016 in the presidential election when Florida and Virginia came in, you knew there was a problem. Florida was not anywhere as competitive as you thought it was going to be, and you still had the panhandle to come in. You knew Trump was going to be in a good shape in that state, which she didn't need. Hillary Clinton didn't need to win. No, but Virginia with Tim Kaine on the ticket was much closer than it
was
should
at
have been.
I was at a watch party with some democratically inclined people, and the mood was not good. And I left after Virginia, and I said, she's now needs to draw to an inside straight, which she did not draw to. So yeah, I mean, we should. It could go all night with everything so close you can't know. Or usually these things break, and we should get an early indication. Senate, I think it could stay where it is. I think the Democrats could gain 2, Arizona, Nevada. Maybe, and I think North Dakota's gone, and I think Missouri's gone.
Yeah.
And
And who knows about Indiana?
Florida,
coin toss,
Montana. You know.
Somebody could have a really good night or a really bad night.
Or it could be a classic split decision.
Do you want to make a prediction where you think the House goes and where you think the Senate goes? You're going to stick with conventional wisdom?
It's conventional. I think the House goes Democratic not by a wave. I think the Republicans hold or add a seat or two in the Senate. And that's based on, I think here at the end, the Kavanaugh bump, the caravan bump, I just think to the extent that they peaked early, and I think there's you notice Trump's disapproval rating tends to be sliding back a little bit. Mm-hmm. Am I making this midterm entirely about Trump? Yes, because it is.
He wants it to be.
He wants it to be, and I want it to be. We need to have a national decision on whether you approve of the way he behaves, and that's all that's at stake, and it's major.
Let's move to the state of Arkansas. Right. What is going to be your bellwether race to tell you if some things have shifted from our last poll in terms of tightening up between Republicans and Democrats, or if those distances we saw in some of those races, governor, congressional district 2, and things hold steady?
I think they hold steady generally statewide. I mean, I think the massive generic R lead that people like Tim Griffin and Leslie Rutledge have on a statewide basis. I think ACE's 60 to 65 holds. I don't see anything in this static political culture to change the steady reddening of Arkansas. Obviously, the thing that I'm focused on most here in central Arkansas is the 2nd district race. Obviously, I've been citing your poll and other indicators and the Cook Political Report and other things to write in somewhat of a pessimistic tone in terms of the Tucker vote. And I'm hearing from all these Tucker people, it's closer than you think. Mm-hmm. I don't know how close I think it is, but it's closer. I think what they mean closer than that.
Yeah.
Closer than.
Well, that's my bellwether race
yeah,
to
I think
see
it's gotta be.
How some of the legislative races may even be trending around the state too.
Yeah, you've got like Jonathan Crossley, the teacher for the year principal out at Baseline, who's a sort of a Jared Henderson type, competing in a place that's in a Sherwood area,
right.
Basically. That's not part of the Little Rock progressivism, but it's a place that's maybe swing. And he is a hard-working door-to-door candidate who's got a splendid resume and a record in education, trying to take a Republican seat. Yeah, that will indicate. Mayor's race in Little Rock. What if Frank Scott, early voting, or what if not early voting, or just voting in general? What if Frank Scott in Little Rock is doing better than we think because the black turnout is higher, because the black vote has been turned out in part by Democrats for Clark Tucker? That'll show us something. As a bellwether, I don't know if it's a bellwether, I think it's different from anything else in the state, but the 2nd district is one to watch in terms of its closeness and how close it really gets.
Yeah. Just to clarify too, on polling, one of the things that I think people expect from us from polling is that we are nailing these numbers at some sort of point. I look at them for trends more than anything else, and I think what we saw in that trend of post-Labor Day to mid-October was that it didn't tighten up any. But here as we come into the home stretch, races do tend to tighten up some, and I do think that there's a good ground game out there for Clark Tucker. That race will be closer than a 12-point race.
Certainly. I think everybody agrees with that, and I appreciate that you're hedging significantly on your poll. And you're right. But the trend, your first poll was 9 points. Your second poll was 12 points. If the 9-point was off and the 12 points are off, the trend, the same kind of poll, making the same kinds of calls, asking the same kinds of questions, what you demonstrate, I think, empirically is it's for Hill right now, based largely, we agree, on the Kavanaugh bump.
Things have changed. There's been a few news cycles since then.
Yeah, other events have happened, and we'll see. And the ground game, the Democrats just think they're going to, Clark is sort of Beto O'Rourke writ small here in Central Arkansas. So it'll be closer.
Well, turnout's always the name of the game. We've been spun in 2010 and 2014 that there was going to be turnout unlike anything we've seen in a midterm election. We do see some boost in some early voting numbers that would suggest that there are some younger people and some only one-time voters, those who've not voted in midterms before but have voted in presidential election years, seem to be coming out. But I don't know if that is Trump turning out voters that voted in 2016 or if they are people that don't normally vote in midterm elections that have decided to come out in a non-presidential election year. We really won't know until we see the final tally.
Or some of both.
Or some of both, yeah. And it's almost a wash.
Yeah.
Let's go to the ballot issues really quickly. Minimum wage, voter ID seem to have overwhelming support there. What do you think happens on casinos?
Well, the emerging conventional wisdom is it has a very good chance to pass. And I guess it does. Nobody guessed it. I mean, there are people against it, but nobody's investing money in being against it. Oaklawn and Southland are happy with it. The churches, religious groups, the out-of-state casino opposition, haven't seen it. Reminds me sort of like the marijuana vote. Like not too long ago, this would have had no chance in Arkansas, but we're culturally different. Times change. People are saying, yeah, I think so. And your polling suggests it's close. I think it has an excellent chance of passing. What do you think?
I think it's got the best chance of passing of any casino proposal that's ever been around. And I'm not sure that if it doesn't pass in this environment, I'm not sure
it ever could.
It ever could. Yeah. Maybe a presidential election year brings a swell of potential voters because it would bring some younger voters to the table that don't normally come out in a midterm, and I think that's important because we see a generational split on that issue.
I just hope if the casino thing passes, it takes them as long to get it set up as it has taken them on the marijuana dispensaries.
It may.
Which means it might never happen.
All right, so last question for you, just one to watch. What's a legislative race that you think must-see TV, something you got to keep your eye on to see what happens on it?
You mean of the entire ballot?
Yeah, in Arkansas, a legislative race.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Texas Senate race is just fascinating, but you don't want me to take that.
You can throw that one in as a PS.
Well, I will throw it in as a PS, but I guess in Arkansas, not because I think, here's how I view Arkansas, largely. It's simply a static place, a static culture. We don't grow that much, we grow some. The South and East and North Central and central parts of the state are basically the same as they've been, and we have been turning red, and every poll suggests we're incrementally solidifying as a Republican state, and I think all that will be true. There's one county that's different, and it's Benton County. It's the most true blue, historically Republican district in the state, but this is old-style Republicanism. They're growing tremendously up there. A lot of suburban type people, other maybe people of more moderate politics are moving in steadily, and there are a half dozen young women running as inspired by anti-Trump and healthcare concerns, who are running as Democrats for the state house. And there hadn't been candidates, Democrats even chance vote running in that county. I don't think any of them has a snowball's chance, but does one of them or two of them get close? Do they show that there's actually a pulse here for Democrats? My old joke is you cannot have a world-class art museum without getting some liberals coming around. And I mean, I just think, I think that's a dynamic population, and politics changes with demographic changes. So I'm going to see if a couple of those women run close up there, reasonably close. And what would that be? Yeah. Man, if one of them gets 45. Okay, and then to close, just quickly. Texas. Texas is an interesting state. 40% of the vote could be Hispanic. We look at Texas and we say, well, it's just cowboy conservatism, all Republican. But do you know Houston is now one of our major metropolitan centers, soon to be the third largest city population-wise, passing Chicago. San Antonio's in the top 10. Austin's close. And this O'Rourke is a fascinating political talent. You don't see political talent come along like that. I don't think he's going to win, But I think this introduces a new Texas, an evolving Texas. And do you remember Bill Clinton burst on the Arkansas political scene and running for Congress against John Paul Hammerschmidt? You don't remember, you weren't born.
I think I was in diapers, but yeah.
This young 28-year-old law professor at Fayetteville got 47% post-Watergate, 47.2 against the Republican, entrenched popular Republican Hammerschmidt. And everybody treated him like he was the second coming. Well, he actually won. And suddenly he became the front runner for Attorney General and then governor in 4 quick years. I think that O'Rourke could get 47.6 against Ted Cruz in Texas and immediately head to the national ticket.
Yeah.
I really think that could happen.
I agree with you. I've made that comment to several people before. I do think that he's a fresh face for the Democrats that is
and
badly
Lord knows
in need
they need one.
of some fresh faces.
Joe's the
we'll
best
see.
they got, and Joe's face is no longer fresh.
There's some interesting early voting statistics going on when you dissect what's happening in Texas too. There are a lot of like over 1 million new voters into the system there. We'll see what happens with that one. So,
okay.
All right, may get you back before next Monday for some more analysis.
You
we
know,
got to
I'm here for you when you
analyze all
need
these
me.
things post-election too.
My Wednesday's going to be spent at the Life Quest class, writing a Thursday column by noon, and speaking to the West Little Rock Rotary Club to tell them what happened. Would you like to take one of those for me?
No.
I didn't think so.
I got
and I'll
my
be
own
up
to
late.
take.
I know, you got your own deal. All right.
All right, John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, as always, good to have you with us.
Good to be here.
All right, thank you for tuning in. That's all for today's program. I'll see you next time.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.